Well, welcome in everybody to the Caldwell County Fair. And today I'm joined by Sarah from 4-H. Tell us about what's happening.
Hi, yes, I'm Sarah Coker. I'm with Caldwell County's Cooperative Extension Service, just helping out at the fair. And today we have the Junior Heifer Show. So this is a cattle show. Earlier in the week there was a swine or pig show, and there's been sheep and goat shows as well. And these have all been shown by youth, some from Caldwell County and some from the surrounding area.
Right, cool. So what are we going to be seeing immediately following this?
So there will be youth coming into the ring with their cattle, and they're going to be judged on how well they work with their animal and how they move around the ring and can set up their animal. And so it's really on the participant, the youth participant themselves. And then after the showmanship classes, there will be junior heifer classes where it's judged on the animal.
Oh, okay, cool. So do you have a lot of experience with livestock? I mean, are you hanging out in farms a lot?
I grew up on a farm actually in Kansas, a cattle operation, so I'm familiar with livestock. And I also was in 4-H when I was younger and participated in livestock shows like this one. So
do you know anything about the judges and what they're kind of looking for?
Sure. So the judge, like with showmanship, they're looking for the youth participant to give some eye contact to the judge, to work well with their animal. If their animal moves well through the ring, they've probably done a lot of work at home with that animal so that the animal feels comfortable with them and they feel comfortable with it. And there's lots of little tips and tricks that I'm sure these youth have worked on the past, especially with larger animals like this. They've been working with them for months most of the time. So a lot of hard work and a lot of responsibility and some great life skills that these youth have learned by working with their animals.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I gotta know, you've worked around animals before. What's the most awkward position that's ever put you in? Like they're licking your face, they're licking your hands, what's going on?
That's just kind of cute stuff. I would say if something startles an animal, if somebody rushes up behind an animal or to the side of an animal, that animal might feel threatened. But so here, if somebody was visiting the fair, these are animals that aren't always in this type of environment, and just like people, they're maybe a little cautious about somebody that they're not used to. So I would say sometimes if an animal gets startled, they may want to move quickly away from whatever startled them. But most of these animals, again, are animals that youth have been working with and have built up some trust with. And so I think the youth are definitely going to have a lot of fun. I'm sure the animals are going to enjoy being pampered before a show. They, get a bath and they get brushed and, looking their best. But and that's something that during the junior heifer classes that the judge, the youth get to prepare their animal. They don't, want their animal to be dirty and muddy. They want them to be clean and ready for showing. But the judge will watch for those classes how the animal moves through the ring. So is it one that just looks like, if you think about an athlete, these are like athletes but animals, right? So they've been chosen because they think they're going to perform well and they think that they've got a lot of good characteristics.
So Olympic level heifers.
I don't know. We've got some good heifers here, but I don't know if we're at the Olympics. There's some pretty big livestock shows that would probably be better compared to than this. But we do have a lot of quality animals here today, and I think it's going to be a great show.
So do you have anything kind of overarching to say about the fair, or like what this means for Caldwell County in general?
Sure. So the Caldwell Agriculture Fair is just a community event, and it celebrates agriculture and can expose people to agriculture if they're unfamiliar with it, but then also for people who are interested in the agriculture community. This is an opportunity, especially for the youth, to showcase what they've learned. And it's just a way to have their hard work pay off, and they also have a lot of fun. There's a lot of youth that, if they show livestock, they usually say, what did you like best about participating in the show? And they're going to say, it was fun.
Well, I mean, of course they're going to say it's fun. This is a lot of fun, and thank you guys for joining us today. And thank you for joining me.
You bet.
All right, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Seth Nagy from the Cooperative Extension. tell us a little bit about what this is for Caldwell County and what the fair is, basically.
Well, the agricultural fair,
right, exactly.
Obviously it's an agricultural fair, although there's rides and cotton candy and
the fun
fried stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also, you were at the exhibit hall earlier where I know there was a 90-pound watermelon and
yes.
other great stuff. There's some conserved foods. And but what we're here tonight is we've got a livestock show. We've actually got a junior heifer show.
Okay.
So we're going to see some cattle.
Uh-huh.
And what this is, these are youth that have some project animals that they've been raising and working with.
Right.
And they're going to be judged at first. The showmanship. These youths will be judged on how well they show and present the animal.
Right.
And then after showmanship, and the winner of each class actually gets a belt buckle, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then after that, they'll switch over to actually the breeding classes. So what they're going to look at, what'll be brought in are different aged animals.
Right.
They'll start with the younger animals.
Right.
The judge will basically evaluate those for how they look and how they would perform as heifers in a beef herd.
Okay.
So that's once the first class, the kids get judged, and then after that, it's the animals are judged after that. There'll be 5 different breeds tonight, and then at the very end, they'll bring all the breed winners in, the supreme, the grand and reserve for each breed, and they'll pick a supreme overall show winner. So that'll be kind of exciting.
So what makes a heifer amazing?
Well, a lot of it is really it's being good in a lot of areas. So
right.
it's having the right shape. It's how their legs and feet and hooves. It's the angles of everything, so
right.
that they have some longevity. It's being able to consume a lot of grass so that they can do well and perform.
Right.
It's having good hips so where they can, because calving is one of the big things, and it's got the calf has to fit through the area of the hips, so they're looking
Absolutely.
at that. They're looking for some other things that are nice to see, like a straight back line, shape of the head. There's a variety of things like that they're looking for. But
right.
with beef animals, you're selling. Ultimately, you're selling pounds
right.
of meat, so size is important.
Yeah, exactly. It's all
but you don't need them too big. Occasionally, they get too big or too fat, and it just doesn't work. So there's an upper limit where you go beyond that, and it's counterproductive.
I see. Okay. Cool deal. Well, you had some numbers here you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to share. So Wednesday night there was a pig show.
Right.
And since I've been in Caldwell County, I moved to Caldwell County in 1998, and since then we have not had a pig show at the fair.
Oh wow!
So this was the first pig show at the fair. There were 7 pigs shown by 5 youth. And let me put these glasses on to see what these other numbers are. So last night was the sheep and goat show.
Right.
And we had 47 head of sheep. So a lot of those, they were shown by 29 youth.
Gracious.
We had, the last night actually started off, so one of the older girls, she's been showing a while, Abby Dillon, she actually put together a special class where special needs kids get paired up with an exhibitor, and they actually show. So that was the first one. So we had 4 special needs kids last night who showed,
nice.
And that's pretty neat. It really makes their day. They get a blue ribbon, and the parents are happy, the kids are happy. It's just a really good experience.
That sounds awesome.
So that's a really neat project. We also had a dairy goat show. It was pretty small. Had 4 dairy goats, but they were good. And we also had a meat goat show. So they were 6 boar goats, but all total, there were 39 youth that exhibited livestock last night. The night before at the pig show, again we had 5 youth there, And all total so far, we've had 9 kids from Caldwell County that have been involved in showing.
Oh, awesome.
So tonight we'll definitely probably double those numbers.
I'm sure.
And but this is really exciting. So
would you call Caldwell County a cow county in a way?
Well, certainly, as far as a cow county, I would say that maybe not in numbers,
right?
Just sheer numbers. I don't think we rank extremely high, but as far as quality of animals,
yeah,
we rank very high. There's some of these farms you might drive by out in the county, and you see some animals out in the pasture. The genetics of those animals may be spread across the country. There's animals that are in Caldwell County that will go to Denver and be shown at the national show there. They'll go to Austin. These things really travel around. So there are a few well-kept secrets that people may not realize. So I think we've got some really good animals in Caldwell County, and I would say it's above most counties that have, or other counties that have the number of head we have.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Sarah. What is the most awkward animal moment you've had?
The most awkward animal moment?
Yes. I mean, you're working around them, so you might get some weird things happen.
Yeah, so at Clemson, this is pretty awkward. This is kind of gross.
Name drop.
So when I was at Clemson, I actually did my master's work at Clemson and at the dairy, and they have one of the cows that has a window in the side. And so a friend of mine was down, was at Clemson, and his family was visiting, and they wanted to see the farm. So I showed him the farm, and Greg said, hey, and there's also a cow with the window in the side.
Right.
And I showed him how we take off the lid, and we put some stuff in and take some stuff out. And I took it off. I took the lid off, and I don't know why. And the cow coughed.
Oh.
And so this stuff comes out of the window and splatters his whole family with this putrid smelling, half-digested feed.
Oh no.
So I actually saw Ray, his father,
right,
a couple years ago. We had dinner together, and he brought it up.
Yeah.
Somehow he remembered it. It was burned in his mind.
I'm sure. Good Lord.
It was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
It made an impression.
Well, thank you for joining me, Seth. Oh man, the tallest man in show business, Seth Nagy. There you go.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
WKBS, Lenore, Morganton, Hickory. NC Green Power is a nonprofit promoting a cleaner energy future through its Solar Plus Schools grant program. Recipient schools receive a 5-kilowatt solar array with a weather station, a STEM curriculum, and training for teachers. Having already impacted 32 schools throughout our state, we hope to award at least one school in all 100 counties. You can help make this possible by supporting Solar Plus Schools today. Visit ncgreenpower.org to learn more and donate to support K-12 STEM education. ncgreenpower.org.
Here's a check on the forecast for the Caldwell Valley.
I think we'd have a nice group of senior showmen here to start it off. I've pulled them across here, and then they're not in any specific order in this first heat. I think all these young people here do a really nice job in terms of getting their cattle set up. They're knowledgeable about their project. I guess for me, there's two individuals that kind of have a little more ring presence. They know where the judge is, and these heifers set up at all times to keep good eye contact. And we'll bring them back here for the championship drive. That'd be the two young men here on the end. That's not to take anything away from the other three here. Just tonight, for me, it kind of comes down to personal preference, or that unfortunately their calves don't quite cooperate with them. But the other three here, like I said, nice showmen. Either the calves just don't want to cooperate with them, or I'd like to see them have a little more ring presence and kind of know where the judge is at certain times out here tonight. Still a really nice set of senior showmanship to start the night off with. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Returning from Heat 1 will be Spencer Stayrook and Jared York. Entering the ring is Heat 2 of Senior Showmanship.
Another really nice heat of senior showmanship here. I think this one gets a little tougher in terms of the quality of showmen out here and just how competitive this group is within. So it really comes down to the personal preference out here. I think there's a couple individuals that kind of do what I look for in showmanship in terms of they get the cattle set up quick and they get the feet placement where it needs to be, and they leave them alone. You can tell when a couple of these hit the ring that they're out here, they're intense. I like that about them, but you can still tell that they're having a good time. So once again, we're going to keep 3 out of this heat. The first 3 down here on my left will return back for champion senior showman here. Let's give this heat another big round of applause.
Staying in the ring from Heat 2, we have Peyton Wesson, Clayton Probst, and Casey Bailey.
I think a really nice group of senior showmen we have back out here for our champion drive. I don't usually talk a whole lot within the heats, but I'm going to give a couple pointers for the younger divisions here of what I'm looking for tonight. Far as when I sort showmanship, I like to see a showman come in here with some intensity, kind of with that in it to win it type attitude. And once they hit the ring, we're looking for a quick, fast setup on your heifers, but we need them feet set accurately and showing the animal to the best of their ability. The one neat thing I think about showmanship is you don't always have to have the best heifer to win it. You just need to be able to present that heifer to the best of that animal's ability. Another thing I like to see is, a lot of judges probably knock you if your heifer gets real antsy. But one thing I like to see is a showman that can work. Sometimes when that heifer gets that way, a showman that can work through it, settle that animal back down, and still get her stuck to the best of its ability. So I think that doesn't always knock on a showman for me. But that's kind of an overview of what I'm looking for. One thing I kind of talk to these guys about is we tell them to use the whole ring, and we want them to use the whole ring so the judge gets a good look at the cattle. But another part we need to watch ourselves when we get up on that edge of that ring side in terms of how close we get to the rail. The judge still needs to get down that rail to see all angles of that calf. So that's just another little pointer that I kind of covered with these guys out here that I think we need to watch. Still use the whole ring, but as we're setting up, be mindful of where we are to the edge of that ring. With that being said, I think this gets really tough out here, but there's a couple individuals that do kind of hit me hard when they come in, and I'll go out and get you a champion senior show.
Our champion senior showman is Peyton Wesson, and reserve champion goes to Casey Bailey. Next in the ring is our class of intermediate showmen.
Let's give this intermediate showmanship a big round of applause. I think 4 highly competitive showmen out here, and I kind of went through with them and kind of talked a little bit about what I would change about what they've done out here today. I think with that being said, it gets pretty close between Grant and Reserve for me. The young lady down here with the Red Angus heifer does an extremely nice job. That heifer's not wanting to cooperate the best with her tonight, but she works through that and still gets that one shown to a really high level. The other one that's in contention for me out here is the young man with the blaze face heifer up front. I think the young man that just does all the basics really well. This heifer most of the time set up really well. Stays calm and collected out here. Just does a nice job of getting that one presented. I think when it comes down to it, the showman that fits me the best is going to be the young lady back here with the Red Angus heifer. She'll be your champion. And the young man there with the blaze-faced heifer will be Reserve.
Our intermediate showmanship champion is Montana Boatwright, and reserve champion goes to Quentin Stayrook.
Let's give these youngins a big round of applause out here. I tell you what, I don't know that it happens often, but I think as we step down into this junior here, this might be as competitive a group of showmen as we've had tonight. I think this is an extremely good group of kids out here sticking these calves. There's 3 or 4 of them that I wouldn't mind letting show calves for us any day of the week. I think, there's, like I said, it gets really close here on the top end, and it kind of comes down to a few personal preferences. But I think there's 3 that are really in contention out here. I went through it once again and visited with them, kind of a few things that I would caution them to watch as they're going into further showmanship or change. But with that said, I'll go out and get you a champion and reserve showman.
Your champion junior showman is Peyton Taylor, and reserve Ella Knight.
Let's give this young lady a big round of applause out here. Just have one here in our Pee Wee showmanship, but a young lady that's certainly got a lot of years ahead, bright years ahead of her showing. Let's give her one more big round of applause.
Now entering the ring is our first Angus entry.
young man brings us a really nice single entry here to start off the Angus show. Just a January heifer that I think offers a lot of good. One that's extremely bold in terms of her center body, got a real brood cow look to her. Certainly can get out and travel some ground really well there. I think a really nice heifer. I guess if I was going to pick on her a little bit, I'd like to lay her in a little neater there in her shoulder. But I think that's getting awfully picky on a really nice brood cow prospect there for the young man.
The January heifer is shown by Colby Blackburn.
I think a nice trio of fall-born Angus heifers out here that all have some usefulness. I think it's pretty easy to find this one that wins the class, though. Here, the young man's heifer is going to lead us off. When we talk about one that's got true cow power, got the extra stoutness that all the way to the ground in terms of her foot and bone, really bold and opened up in the center part of her body. And as we set her to go, that one still gets out and goes more than adequate for the amount of power and mass that one has there. I think just a really nice place to start this class off with. And we get into a closer pair here between second and third. I think the young lady's heifer to me, she's just got a little shot more power, shot more body. Just gives a little more of a brood cow look to her for me. I'd like to see her just a little stouter all the way from her hooks to the ground. Just give her a little more power here today to go up over that class winner. Young man's heifer that rounds out the class, a super sound, athletic type female. One that'll make a tremendous cow with a lot of longevity for him. We just need to give that one a little more stoutness in body and just overall power to get her up any higher today. Really nice trio there of Angus fall heifers.
Winning the class is Lane Boatwright, followed by Casey Bailey in second, and third shown by Colby Blackburn.
All right, everyone, we are joined by Miss Lee Cox, and she's going to show us around the exhibit hall at the Caldwell County Fairgrounds this year. What's new about this year? Anything different?
We have got a whole lot of exhibits in here and a lot of booths that would be of interest to people.
Yeah.
Many organizations and some just interesting things for people.
Of course.
The exhibits that we have are, we've got flowers, needlework, culinary, the food, the horticulture, the vegetables, and the arts and crafts and photography and the 4-H.
Oh, of course. Got to have the 4-H.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll take you around and see all the sights and sounds.
All right. This is our best of show of the different departments that we have. The judges have chosen what they felt like was the best, and we placed that right here so that people could see it and really kind of admire what Caldwell County can do. So we have the best of the flowers, the best of the needlework, the best of the field crops, the best of arts and crafts, the best of food, the best of the canned goods, the best of the horticulture, and the best of the paintings.
I see, okay. Very cool.
Okay. This is our section for flowers. Hanging baskets, different types of flowers such as roses, zinnias, dahlias. Over here we have got some potted plants and even some gourds that are really warty little creatures.
Love it.
This is our needlework section. We did not have much of that this year. 2 years ago, this section was really full. But we have in here, we have knitted items, crocheted items, quilts, and just different, and sewing, just different things that are handcraft. We hope that next year we will have this section just as full as it was 2 years ago. There is one thing also that I need to mention as well. Somehow there is a rumor that people need to pay to bring items in to exhibit here in the exhibit hall, and that is definitely not true. As you can see, particularly from the flowers, we do give ribbons, and there are monetary prizes, not much, but monetary prizes for those ribbons. So be thinking about next year and the items that creative Caldwell Countyans can bring to the fair.
Love it.
This is our culinary department, and it is quite scarce this year. It was good, the food was good, but it's quite scarce. And I know Caldwell County can cook and cook well. In this section we have canned goods, which is not, we don't have very much this year in that. We also have eggs and we have honey. This is the section of horticulture. Vegetables, field crops. We have, of course, this 90-pound watermelon. Think about eating that one. And we have the field crops, the corn, the soybeans, and hay. This section is horticulture for the vegetables. We've got lots of peppers, a few tomatoes, and some other vegetables. Again, note the prizes and the ribbons. And here we have more horticulture. We have herbs, more watermelons, and pumpkins, squash.
Ah!
These are more of our flowers.
So what do we have here, Lee?
We have here photography and arts, the paintings. I don't see any sketches this year, but we have color photography and black and white photography in different categories, and the paintings as well. This also is crafts, and one person put all of these model cars plus the old country store together. That is a really big Kershaw. And if you will note from the pink ribbon, that is a best of show. This is 4-H. This is the 4-H section. This also is the 4-H section for kids from 5 to 19. Some of whom are, as you can see, really creative and artistic. We do have lots of booths here. Well, this is one of the 4-H booths right here. The American Legion and the DAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution. Behind us is United Way. This is more of the 4-H. That is a huge puzzle that one of the 4-Hers put together. The Sheriff's Department and Crime Stoppers here. They have been giving away gun locks for the safety of children and some adults. We have the beekeepers in the corner. We have soil and water. This is the fire marshal here, explaining about what to do and if something is burning. This is the Master Gardener booth. The Master Gardeners learn how to not only grow plants, but how to compost, how to prune, how to do a whole lot in terms of plants in every way. We are also selling ice cream this year. And this is from Hart's General Store and Creamery. They emphasize local and very healthy food. The ice cream is really very, very tasty. It got all sorts of things. I'd like to emphasize our 4-H program because it is a very good program in teaching youth how to be independent and how to do things. They emphasize action as well. But it is an extremely good program, and we are proud of having it in Caldwell County.